1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on. Hello? There it is. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Live.
We live. How do I look?
Great. Amazing.
Yeah.
In the Parkway Automotive Studios.
All the way live from the Parkway Automotive Studios. Should we close that door? Yeah. Myself, Stephen Aiken,
5,
a.k.a.
4, 3,
The Dream, and my boy, my man, Isaac Stackhouse here. Whoops. Running the controls. Shoot, man. Excited to be here. It's Wednesday. It's 2 p.m., so y'all know what we're doing. Another The Dream Show Live. Gonna get on here and ramble about goings on and whatnot. It's the last day of school for the kids in the county here, so we.
Is that what's going on? I've seen a lot of travel pickup recently in my travels.
Okay, yeah, with that, and then that's why we had Thomas hanging out with us today. He's not in studio. He decided he didn't want to come and get in, but he may pop in. So just that way I don't feel anxious about it. If he comes in.
He comes in.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
he can contribute.
Yeah, that's
we
what
got
I'm
a
saying.
mic right here for him.
I just wanted him to go ahead and sit down, but you know how that goes. He'll change his mind in a few minutes, and I'm sure. Whatever. Anyways, summertime starting now. It's awesome. Going to the second grade. We're gonna take a little trip this weekend. Probably, I guess, over to. Yeah, are we doing that?
Somewhere our direction.
Yeah,
I don't know what the plan is, but
I don't know. We were supposed to go on a trip out of town to do a seminar, but based on the weekend, we forgot it was Memorial Day. Myself and the other coach, so we pushed that back probably to July. So I needed to pivot really quick and do another plan with my boy there because we were pretty hyped about getting to go travel. He hasn't got to travel really since last year in the coronavirus stuff kicked off. And so he likes to, I guess most kids wants to fly and travel and go see other things, like most people in general. So I was really excited to be able to take him. But then now he had to pivot. And so I was like, but if you could choose like what you wanted to do or where you wanted to go. And he started describing basically going to Auburn for the weekend because he had so much fun at the trampoline park over there, and because I got to teach a seminar over at
he says hey, by the way, so he's on your YouTube.
My guy.
Throwing up tents. My man throwing up tents in the comments section.
Leading the chat. That's right. My number one fan right there. Him and his mom, I guess, are going to have to fight that battle pretty soon.
I don't know, yeah.
But son, don't mess with the phone too much. But yeah, super excited to get to go this weekend and maybe camp and maybe do some jiu-jitsu and definitely go to the trampoline park somewhere.
Yeah.
Spend a few hours there and get exhausted. So, gonna do a big bro down for the weekend. It's pretty fun. I like doing stuff like that with him now that I'm free from all the stress of competition, for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe ever, I guess, for myself. I don't know.
What did the build up to this past weekend? Because for those that are tuning in for the first time to the Dream Show Live, what happened this last weekend?
So yeah, I guess, it was February, the first week in February. We did 6 days, 5 nights of competition. Technically for me, it was all 6 nights of competition, 15 matches over the course of that time. The points for wins and chokes and breaks added up, and throughout that season, through winning and losing and drawing a lot, I ended up firmly in the middle of the pack, I guess I would say, and I think was satisfied to a degree until like it started happening more, like or it was done rather, I guess, and I realized I was below some people that I didn't really want to be below, or I don't know, just seeing numbers on paper make things look worse than they are sometimes, or feel worse. So we did all that, did the show for, I don't know, how many episodes now was that? 8 or 9?
I think it was
10 weeks in a row.
We did 10 episodes that were all congruent, so that was like 10 weeks.
So 10 weeks of a vlog style show or a documentary each week of the blocks that were going down on their show. So the PGF had a show that was basically like ESPN putting on a show. And then so what we did was kind of an E60, basically following mostly me, but other people in the thing. So all that's on here too. If you're tuning in for the first time, we've got everything that you could possibly want to know almost about the PGF behind the scenes stuff. We have it. And so that was really cool. But part of that was like too much. Knowing too much made it too much. Talking about it so much, it consumed the majority of my mind for most of that time. Like I was really like trying to figure out the right way to deal with it all, because like I said before, like it was coming out week to week without knowledge to the public, I guess I would say, of the results. And so I was having to live week to week or whatever and try to promote it and talk about it, but not give anything away. So that was stressful, trying to like hide the truth from people and not give away too much information, but also be in the right mindset that people would still tune in to see it, because you could easily give away the results just on your attitude or your body language about certain things, or the non-answers certain people would give, or that you could give at certain times. So that navigating those, that was new for me. Trying to do that was tough. Trying to dance around that for so many weeks, and try to be good at it was a little bit hard. And so that, like all those little things started kind of adding up. So it got really stressful by the end of it, trying to navigate what I thought and felt was going on versus what everybody else was seeing and feeling, and then trying to just being okay with whatever people thought and letting it be whatever you could think, whatever you want to think. I was there. I know what it was. And, just trying to deal with it that way. But still, you can't just let things be if people are seeing things the wrong way. I feel like if there's something that's out there, I guess, or whatever, then it needed to be kind of said sometimes. So there's a lot of stuff that we didn't really get into that we could have gotten into. And so I was trying to navigate that and protecting everybody's feelings and, and trying to be the respectful person and things like that was always interesting and fun to be. It was fun, but it was stressful trying to do it week to week to week to week, because sometimes I wanted to be an asshole. Sometimes I just wanted to go straight heel and like just go off and tell people whatever was going on or whatever I thought might be going on, which would have been awful, because just getting in your feelings sometimes and showing your butt that's not the move for like a pro. That's not the way to be. So leading into the finale, I had a rematch. Obviously, they were all rematches because everybody got to go with everybody, but with Matt Elkins. And so the finale, and then my last match of the season was Matt Elkins, and then the finale was Matt Elkins. So I had plenty of time. I had plenty of time to know who it was going to be and what like we're getting ready for. Like I didn't talk about it or say anything or whatever, but like my back and hip and leg or what a knee, everything's been jacked up to like everybody else talks about or whatever. I just don't really like lean into that much or whatever. I make jokes about being older and stuff like that, but like I basically can't hardly use my right leg in the way that I should to do a lot of the guard plays that I need to play both sides on. So that's why I play a lot of half guard over the years. That's why I've been doing it. And so in the last year or so, it's gotten pretty tough with the tightness in my lower back and trying to get that unwound. And I was doing a pretty good job of it before I started getting ready to compete and competing and then staying in that mindset. And so then it just started getting so tight.
Do you think it was just the amount of mileage that you were still putting on it?
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean is like prior to the competition, like if you can remember too, I'm sure it's like a lot of the classes we had some different like yoga exercises that we would do as part of the warm-ups and different things like that. But then once I started getting competition mindset, I was mostly just like, all right, we got to get right to the technique-based stuff, the skill-based stuff, get to work, get to move, just kind of just like forgot a lot of the
I talked about this with Matt for a little bit over the weekend because like it was interesting to me because I'm selfishly a little bit glad that you're not on the competition mindset in the training room for a little while, because I don't know if I could be your training partner for a long term. Like I'd come in for like 3 or 4 days, and it'd be like it'd be fun, it'd be great, but
rough.
I needed a day or two to
rough,
go like
man.
get somebody my size.
It's rough, man. It's rough. And when I'm in my feelings about things, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to prove a point, I really make sure I do that, the best that I can. And so in training, I was really trying to find, I tried to wait before I started putting in too hard of work leading into it, that way I wouldn't get so hurt or so tired or so, not tired, but like sore,
beat up,
or not be able to, to recover and continue. And honestly, that's why I was so happy to get through the season when they condensed it. I was so worried about it. I was so worried
stretching that out
dude,
over
I was so worried that I wasn't going to be able to even do it. And then especially once I saw Zach start getting hurt day one. So these are all things I didn't say to people until after this was all over, because I didn't want anybody to know that I was limited in certain ways or whatever, even though, my game was out there. But there's reasons, like I said before, there's reasons why certain things happen that people may or may not ever know. And Elijah, when he hit the double queasy, he caught my leg. He caught the leg that I don't have the most dexterity in, so that's why I didn't try to pummel.
Play.
I couldn't. I don't really have that dexterity in that leg to really do that. And so I wanted to say that when we were talking about it and just be like, that's why it was so easy for him, because he did such a good job that I was so deep that there was no reason to even try to fight, because I knew
it was only going to hurt you
with that leg for sure. It was just going to cause more trouble than it was worth. So I had all that too, and I have had that for a long time that I've been dealing with, kind of. So that's why I was saying, and you've heard me say it a lot, but I was basically this was my retirement season or whatever, trying to do the last last ride one last time or whatever kind of deal, going into the PGF. And then when initially, when I first thought about it, I was like, all right, it's going to be one of those 32 people seasons where there'll be the same number of people that I thought were tough, just maybe the same, 6 people that may be able to beat me or so. But then there's going to be almost 25 other people or almost 30 other people maybe.
You're going to get a highlight reel.
That I'm just going to highlight week after week after week after week. And then it got condensed, and then everybody was tough pretty much right after that. And then my back was all jacked up. But I got to do it. I got to do it because I said I was going to do it, and I was committed to doing it. And if I ended up getting beat up by everybody and getting wrecked, then I would. And that was the reason that I approached it the way I did, without trying to give up too much of myself in these matches, because longevity was the key. The wins were going to come, I felt like, with time, but not getting injured was going to get me through the season and get me through what I was looking for out of it, which was mostly just to do it, was mostly to get that one more good experience out there, go into a situation, throw myself into the fire one more time and just see where it came out, And then it got really serious when I got there. And once it started happening, I kind of lost a lot of that, ready to be, done. I was ready to fight now. Basically, I was ready to get back in there and just go. I was ready to go again. But like I told you that day, it's on the way, I was I would like to do this again real quick. Just run the same thing another week. Excuse me.
Run another pattern of that.
Just run another 15 blocks for another 6 days or 5 days or whatever it was. The same order will be fine, whatever. Just do it again to see what, just to see, because I was ready. I just don't want to stop now. I want to go back and prove it. I want to go back and prove more.
Think you would do a PGF Masters if there was one?
It's going to have to be a while, man.
Yeah.
It would have to be a long time.
You need to give it a break.
I got to stop, man, because I get too caught up. I get too wound up. I get too into everything, and it takes too much to be high-level competition, to be a high-level competitor, because the other guys they're doing the work, man. They're out there. A lot of those guys that were in the PGF had competed 4 or 5 times between the season and getting there.
A couple of them fought.
Yeah, that's what it is. So a few of these guys had really done some work. So, and I was barely just getting through practices a few times on the way to the finale. And then knowing I had Matt, who had basically pulled my head off in less than a minute in the last match that I had. So then now I've made it to the finale, right? So mission accomplished, right? We made it. Made it this season.
You're in the finals.
And then, well, now it's serious though. You know, now we've already did all this whole season of stuff. We've already talked about it. Everybody knows everything. People think, oh, now it's the longer match, so it's going to be mine to win, basically, or it plays into my favor automatically a lot more. But what I know and what everybody else knows, I guess, but doesn't think about is those guys don't lean into that the same way. So they're going to still run their style of faster play. And so I would have to draw that out still. So the guys that beat me, they beat me by going faster in that time frame. And so if Matt could do the same thing in a minute, it doesn't matter if the match is scheduled for 45 days. If he gets me in a minute,
he knocks it out in a minute, it's over.
It's not getting paid by the hour. You know what I mean? So I was really worried about that. So I spent a lot of time like thinking about that. And so like when we were getting our match on the way or whatever, my main focus was not letting him get control of the front headlock. So I spent a lot of time really focusing in on that, knowing that this was going to be maybe my last match if I didn't win, maybe ever, you know, thinking that there was, you know, if I won, then I would obviously get to go with Hunter and see what happened there. And I felt like if I could get through Matt, then confidence-wise, going into Hunter, I would have been pretty good. Would I have been able to beat him? I don't know. The guy seems to be on fire. He's like just running the same games on people all over the country. And
yeah, I don't see a whole lot of outs of like I've talked to a couple of my black belt friends and like sent them videos of him, and like all I get back from them, there's none of them come back with like, oh, I've got an answer for that. All of them come back with like, hey, would you come by and like want to drill that?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. He's super crisp with his movements. He knows what he's doing and stuff. But like I said, I knew that I had to beat Matt. Like that was it. I had to beat Matt, and I had to get it done, and that was it. So I was carrying a lot of like extra pressure in my own mind to it, and so you know we got started, and he wanted to wrestle, which was great for me. I felt like because that's one of the things that like cost me a little bit. I feel like in the first match was that he was injured. And so I didn't have to respect his game the whole way, and I didn't really think about his ability to pop back up to his feet and do things. And this time I didn't care anything about Matt as we were going out there to compete.
Him personally.
You know, right.
Yeah.
Like before and after or whatever, yeah, sure. But like when we were going out there, I was like, I can't worry about anything but trying to win this match. Like that was it. And so, like, I don't know. I think it went almost 12 minutes. I had a couple of like moments I feel like where I could have like seized the opportunity or something like that. But he was just a little bit faster, man. He was just a little bit ahead of me.
He hasn't stopped talking about that sprawl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I hit him with a couple of decent things. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like I did my best. That was my best. That was the best I could do. That was literally the best I could do. And so it was infuriating when it was over. I had all these like, I don't know, like the stages of grief or whatever started washing over me as soon as I had to tap. And it was like denial and like trying to blame somebody else and then trying to, point at, that can't be how it went because I was supposed to win because it went almost 12 minutes, and like that was like, that's when I usually get on top and win is what happened with Matt. Like that situation where he finished the triangle is usually that's when I win.
He thought you were going to get out there. It looked like it was tight, but it looked like it was
so
like
the thing again, I was trying to posture, my lower back started hurting, so I had to change what I was doing. He started pulling my head down in that triangle. My neck started burning because of arthritis in my neck, and so I had to give it up, man. I had to give it up to him or risk like hurting myself pretty bad for a lot longer. And so I had to give it to him. Like I had to give it to him. he did the thing that I tell people to do. Like, he played the game the way that I say you should play the game against people to make it work for you. If you can't just do it, you keep plugging away at them on top and wrestling back up and getting back on top and shooting, and trying to figure out what's there, but never giving up that fatal play. And that's what he did. He made a couple mistakes, but none of his errors were fatal. He never got put on the bottom and stopped. My one transition to the trying to get to the top from the bottom, like I shot like a DOA at him, basically just to try to get on top. I wasn't even thinking about attacking his foot at all. Like, I was mostly wanting to do this play to get on top because it's something that I get by with in training on people a lot. But I don't use it. I haven't had to use it or tried to use it in competition yet because I haven't been relying on those. Like, I haven't been switching my game up. Like I said, I've been going to the well too much. And so this time I was trying to switch it up and playing some of those like butter half and stuff, you know. And he jumped over that one leg, the right leg that I can't really engage the right way a lot of times. He hopped right over it, and it was like, crap.
Going through all the right things, and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, like I was doing everything what I could do, the best that I could do, but he was just too smart, too athletic, a little too fast, a little too determined. You know, in those little moments, he had just a little bit too. He was just as game as I was. He wanted it just as much as I did, you know, and so it was like, personally, it was really, really frustrating, and it really, like, it was hard to like deal with that for the first maybe 30 to 45 minutes of that like situation, to be honest, because I don't know what I was expecting to happen when it was over.
What was the headspace that you went to right before? Because, like, I mean, there's going to be a behind the scenes that gets dropped probably Saturday from this whole thing. Like, where were you? What when you talk about this? Like, it was interesting to hear you talk about how, like, you don't want to go back into the competition realm because, like, you have to do something and go somewhere.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was sitting there, and then it started getting close. There's like, 30 minutes until time, and then Brandon came through and was like 17 minutes or something random like that was what he, and that's why I remember it was like 17 minutes until the first match or whatever, and I was like, oh crap. And then the first match is going to be Hunter and Evan, so just to think it through, that's probably going to be a short match because Hunter's going to look to blitz Evan as fast as he can. So then I have maybe 20, maybe 25 minutes before it's going down. I had to cut like 15 pounds. Nobody knows that because nobody weighed in except for me. And I just did it on my own because Brandon told me to do it and be a gentleman and follow the thing, So I had cut about 15 pounds in the day before. And so my legs weren't feeling that great yet. So I just went and started running sprints in the hallway. And when I started running sprints, I started just getting really, really pumped up. And then started just thinking about stuff. And I guess, this is the thing, I guess, is that knowing what I knew, that this was potentially the last one of these kind of competitions or the last time I would be doing this particular thing, this way, I was really just thinking about the past a lot, and then, what did this all mean to me? What it all meant. And it was super emotional. I was really emotional. I was trying to just keep moving and keeping myself pumped up. But I was thinking about people that weren't there. I was thinking more about the people that weren't at the show or maybe even watching the show that I thought should have been there one way or the other, not for whatever reason, but there's a couple people for sure that I wish would have been able to be there in some way, shape, or form. And you can't worry about that kind of stuff.
Can't think about somebody that's outside the arena type deal.
Or just you can't worry about that kind of stuff anyway, right? If they're not going to clap for you, you got to clap for yourself. If they're not going to be there, that's never stopped me before. I've never let any of that stuff kind of hold me back. I've never let any of that stop me, and never, like, it's always fueled me more to prove people wrong, you know, to prove to people what's what, you know, and that's what I was going to do. That's what I said. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to go. And I kept telling you, it's going to be like a jiu-jitsu bar fight. This is going to be rough. It's going to be a scrap. I'm going to have to fight him. Like, I'm literally going to have to fight this dude, and hopefully I can, like, put him away. Like, literally, I'm going to have to put him away. Like, I'm going to have to physically put this man down, because he's not going to lay down.
Well, and he was going to make you kill him.
That's what I'm saying.
He was
He's not
one of those, yeah.
He's not going to lay down.
No.
He wasn't going to lay down. So there was no easy ride to the sunset here. And I definitely didn't want to get put out in a minute, or in any time, rather. But I didn't want to just spend 30 minutes running, you know, running around, or just not doing anything. I wanted to fight for it. I wanted to have a fight. I wanted to scrap. I wanted to tussle. You know, I wanted to do the damn thing.
Play the game.
And I wanted to do better than I did, and that's why I was pissed off. But that's what happens to people, right? That's the way that it goes. There's always somebody a little bit younger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, a little bit more athletic, a little bit better looking sometimes, you know, maybe a little, yeah, it's just.
Matt Elkins is a good looking
He's a good looking dude, you know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. And thankfully I do like him, or that would have made it much worse. If it was someone that I didn't like, then I wouldn't have been able to.
What is that? How does that flavor it differently? Like the fact that, like, what is that?
We got to talk after it was over, and just kind of like just talking it out made it feel better. I don't know, just weird, kind of like, you know, that, because dude, it was intense. Like, it was tense. It was really intense. Like, I was fighting, and I was stripping some of those grips, dude. He was digging in so hard, man. He was going at me, man. He was catching like some of his shoulder pressure. He was wrapping really deep, and like almost just basically like non-consensual choking me from side control, basically with his shoulder pressure wrapped around like this way, you know. And it's like, bro, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just like, geez, you are on me, like on me, and I have to do something about this. And everything I did, like I said, he was just slightly ahead, or when I almost got ahead, he had the move to kind of just scramble out and make us disconnect, or make, you know, and that's the game. That's the way it goes. And yeah, moving on from that, man, it's just going to be tough to kind of let it lie for a little while, I think. But I know it's for the best, because I'm going to be able to work on my body and getting my body healthier, because I was doing a better job of that in a lot of ways. I guess going to the season, once I started getting healthier with the weight process, I started doing a lot more, you know, making myself take care of myself to feel better. But the stress of competition and the stress of preparation and the stress of like all that other stuff, it really adds up, man. And I think people don't think about the way that your body carries stress, and the way that can trigger physical pain also sometimes when you feel so stressed, you're so tense. Like, people understand like a tension headache, but you can get like your stomach will hurt, you know, for example,
because of where your abdomen,
your hip flexors and different things like that are triggering, you know, that fight or flight response, because you're so spazzed out. And so you're having stomach cramps and whatever, just different things that can all go along with that kind of stuff. And
what are some of the ways that you're doing that, and that you were doing that? Like, what are some of the specific?
Trying to do like a lot of yoga, 2 or 3 days a week. One definitely with a teacher, and then trying to do 2 or 3, you know, or at least 2 by myself, some, and then leading the class warm-ups, where we're adding in a couple of those movements during the warm-ups each time. So I was getting a couple extra reps each day doing that. And then not rolling so much, like not rolling so hard, and taking more days to rest physically and relax mentally, and get out of that like hardcore mindset. And I can't shake it hardly though once I'm in it. You know, it's kind of, I mean, like I was telling you, is like it was eerily calm indicator for that whole week for me. And I just realized that I just kind of slid into my zone, and it was comfortable there, but because there was no real life to deal with. Nobody, you would leave me alone. If you even thought that there was something wrong with me, you would be like, hey, I'm gonna go hit a run real quick or whatever. And it was just like, okay, cool, you know.
It's kind of easy to read that when you've been in the same position.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But like we talked about before, though. But like the kids and the business and
they don't read the room.
They can't. They don't give a shit. They got to get what they got to get, you know. And I can't make them leave me alone for 9 or 10 or 12 weeks. I can't. That's not fair. It's not right. And then stressing about that makes stress about, you know, others. You know, so you're stressing about stress now, and so that's just kind of silly. And that's what it starts doing to me now at this point. It's like it just started making, I was stressing about being stressed out. It's like because I need to slow down, but I physically can't right now, or it's going to cost me, you know, a lot mentally, you know. And so it was really tough to go between it. And that's why I say I just got to leave it alone, man. I just got to leave it alone. I got to live vicariously through you guys and the students and as a coach and mentor and father, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's what I got to do, man. I already knew that. I already knew it. I did. And I said it. Like I was already saying all this stuff. And then somebody threw a couple competitions at me, and I'm ready to go, you know, sell the house and move into a van. I mean, it's just who I am. I can't help it.
No, I get it.
Like I'm a dog, like, you know, in that way. Like I'm game. I grew up that way, and that's what I'll always kind of be that way, I feel like. So I've got to find something that's going to give me whatever that is, you know, feeling that I need to be stimulated or whatever it is.
Do you think being the black belt and being like having the gym is giving you that? Do you feel like that transition's kind of happening in the fact that like, or is it just completely different than what you thought?
I think it is happening in a lot of ways. It doesn't say it's different though.
Right.
You know, it's not the same vibe. You know, personal achievement is one thing that you get, and then like group achievement or being affiliated with some, you know, like, you know, I don't know how to say that the right way, but like when you do something yourself, that's one feeling, but then when you do it with a team, that's another feeling. They're both good and great or whatever. And so I do get a lot out of seeing the guys like maybe David, who's came in from no experience whatsoever to now, you know, he's hanging with people at, you know, blue belt levels and different things like that, and his size and skill. And then people like Christian, maybe, who lost 50-something pounds. He wasn't a big guy, but the fact that he, you know, lost 50 pounds, it's like, oh, wow, you're actually like a really small guy. Like you should be like 135 or 140 and not 190. Yeah. You know, stuff like that. People see like big guys losing weight or whatever. You think like, so seeing all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, trying to do the right thing for everybody is part of that. And when you see something, like, I guess it's the same thing in this way, that you see yourself sacrifice something, or you see yourself put some work into something and it works, or what, you know what I mean? Like, or somebody else gets something out of it and they get a win.
And it makes sense.
Yeah. It feels good. That does feel good. But it doesn't last the same way that personal achievement lasts to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I got to stack these other little things up a lot more somehow, or just be content, which is what I'm mostly trying to do. I'm mostly just working on trying to be content, and definitely not like slowing down in the sense of like not wanting to not achieve things, right? But I just need to be
content with what you have.
Content with what's what. That
Yeah.
things are what they are. And people are going to be people. They're going to come and go. And some people that you didn't think would leave are going to leave. And there's going to be people that you didn't think were going to be your best friend and whoever that are going to be, you know, your ride or die. And it's going to be funny like that. And then there's going to be business deals that come in that seem great. And then it's going to be a struggle, and it's going to work out, and it's going to be a struggle sometimes, and it's going to fail. And you just got to be content with that's what happens for everybody, and not give up like the fight, meaning the positivity vibe, the trying to strive vibe, the guy that's trying to be more than. Like, but I'm content with the fact that I don't get everything I want, if that makes sense. Because like I think there's a quote, I know that I shared it, I can't remember exactly how it is, but it's like, you suffer if you don't get what you want, and then you'll suffer if you get what you don't want, and then you'll suffer if you do get what you want, because you can't keep it that way forever. So you're gonna suffer one way or the other, depending on how you choose to view it. You know, it's all suffering, I guess. That's like life, you know, DMX. You know, life is suffering. You know, but to survive, that's to find meaning in the suffering, you know. And so all these hard times, all these different things that give me what little bit of wisdom I guess I have, like I guess it's my calling now to share that with people, to pass that on, and to help them cut the line, to not have to stub their toe so many times, or to not, you know what I mean, to help bypass some of those pitfalls that are easy, that you can see coming, you know, like, well, you see in class sometimes, it's like, why would you do it like this? What about this right here? It's just like, well, flip your leg around and see what happens. And it's like, oh, it just kind of works when you do that. It's like, yeah, it just kind of works when you do it this way, but that way you have to make it work.
You have to force it.
Yeah. So there's, you know, I don't know, man. There's lots of parallels with this. There's a lot of things that go into all of it. And being a warrior is one thing, right? But being a leader is another, you know, and you don't always have to be the most fierce fighter, I guess I would say, to be the best leader, especially if you've already been in the fight before and you have the relevant experience to speak on whatever's happening and stuff. So I can leave it where it is and be content with it. I can. It's just going to take a little bit of time again. I didn't realize what, you know, like almost like the MMA thing. It's like, dude, it's almost been like a breakup with a girlfriend or something. Like, Mandy would probably tell you, I was listening to like Adele and shit, folding clothes and stuff, singing like breakup songs and stuff all weekend. It's crazy, dude. I'm trying to get out of the funk. It's like I
can completely see it. To be honest, I just see it, 100%.
It just is what it is, you know. And so, just what that thing is just trying to be with the feeling, and just Thomas is opening the door.
You're good.
Stop opening the door, Thomas, because I can hear your phone through the speakers. Go sit back down, please. Thank you. But yeah, it's just that, you know, and just trying to sit with that feeling and identifying what it is, and maybe, you know, it's mourning something that's gonna be gone now. You know, that person is gone. That person, you know what I mean? If I don't compete anymore, that person is gone. So it is kind of like that in a way, you know. And
it's the old Yeller moment.
Sort of. But I got to be content with, that's what it says, I got to be content with that loss, you know, metaphorically, and the one that I took on the mat, you know. So it's all those, like I say, it's just those parallels all the time. I'm such a jiu-jitsu freak now that you could spin a problem. You tell me anything wrong with you and I can make jiu-jitsu fix it for you. It's like, my car is broken down. It's like, yeah, man, if you get the extra leverage with this tire wrench, you know, like you do with your arm bars.
Jiu-jitsu fixes all.
So, yeah, man. So it's been heavy. It's been really heady getting into it the last week, especially after, you know, going to the finishers thing. And doing that, and then, you know, leading into it, like that's what I say. Part of that was just to get that idea of being worried about it out of the way, just going out there and just doing it again real quick while I had time, while I had a chance. Because I was gonna not compete again after PGF. Well, they offered finishers before PGF was over, and I was like, well, I can do one more then. That'll make it one more.
I still
then.
keep the deal with myself.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not a liar.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna stop it. So that's the main reason I did finishers, is because I always wanted to do a finishers, and I finally got the chance, on my way out the door, and I was like, well, F it, I'm going, man, and we'll see what happens, And I guess I've just been doing that for a long time. It's kind of funny. One of these weeks was this last week or so was the anniversary of fighting Dan Severn. I forget people was going to think that's really cool. It's just
that is really cool. I mean,
No,
going and fighting a legend. I mean, I saw him after that conversation. I saw him get referenced like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, my friend fought him.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's so funny to me now. It's been such a long time ago. It's just an old story to me. Mm-hmm. But then when it comes up to people who haven't heard it,
oh my God,
they're like, whoa, and it's like, yeah. It's like I did so many other things since then. That was my 3rd fight out of 19.
Yeah.
So long. Like I mean, it was a big moment for me as far as like stepping out there and being a man and a competitor and fighting and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like who I am compared to who that was, there's no even way to compare those people. Like I would trash that guy now, me, versus that guy that fought Dan Severn, and I would beat up Dan Severn too. But that's whatever.
Is that a call out on the Dream Show?
He's too old, man. He's too old.
I mean, everybody's doing retirement fights right now.
I don't want to do that. We've already talked about that, but I did try to rematch him a couple of different times at least. At least in my mind, we tried to do it. We sent out things to try to do it again because it was an easy fix to beat him. I just didn't know anything. But either way, like I've been doing all those things. That's why I think I never made it to the higher echelons of the MMA world, because I would just take fights, or I just wanted to fight. I wouldn't pad my record. The one time I went to the Ultimate Fighter tryout, they were like, "Yeah, you did really good, but your record is 6-2. If you can get that to like 10-2, then we'll do it." Well, then I won like 2 more fights and then lost one, so then I was 8-3, and I was like, well, crap. And I was like 2-1 or 3-1, and then 2-1 and 3-1 or something like that. So, but that one was always like everyone was a decision to some really tough guy, and it was the local guy from X town that the promoter was putting on. That was a heavyweight or a 205er by the certain time.
You were the out of towner coming in to dethrone the hometown.
Dude.
Yeah.
And so that's what I said. That's why I've gotten such.
You got to put that guy to sleep.
That's what I said. That's why I got so cool with that vibe, though, of people just
not liking you.
They just discount me, and they think whatever. And so that's why it was so weird to go into a room where people thought that you're the man, or that you're like, oh, these guys all respect you, dude, and they think you're really tough and all this. And it's like, no, man, no. I don't want to. I didn't want to believe that because that throws me off my game. I don't want you to respect me. I want you to tell me I
You
suck.
were the sage.
I don't want that though.
I know.
I don't want that. I want to pee on their beds.
I mean,
like, I don't want to. But
Yoda had his moments though. Like if you think about it, like if you're talking about,
when I was
Yoda,
younger, then that may have went down in those kinds. That's what I say. Is like I saw Evan with me, like a younger me in a lot of ways. Like if I was 20 something, in a blue belt, like I was
fighting way above your weight class,
and fighting above my pay grade and everything. Hit the red button. Fighting way above my pay grade, which I fought Dan. You know how I got my blue belt? Fighting Dan Severn. When I got back, my jiu-jitsu coach was like, "No way, you're a white belt and you fought 15 minutes with Dan Severn. Here's your blue belt." That's how I got my blue belt. Point. So it's like people say what they want to say, and it is what it is. But it's just funny to have those kinds of stories now. Like I don't know. I was a white belt, and then I was a blue belt, and then I beat a black belt when I was a blue belt. But he was like me. He was older and ran a school, and But at that time,
caught him on a bad day.
Hey, that medal's hanging up in the gym, baby. It's still on the wall in my shadow box because it was such a big moment for me as a blue belt to beat a black belt. But now, looking back, I recognize, and this is not now, but several years ago, I recognized, oh, he was the older gym owner black belt that was just out there kind of competing for funsies and got blitzed by a young MMA fighter
That was ready to play.
that was ready to just blast anything in front of me.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing for everybody though, right? And it's kind of like that's the thing that I respect kind of with what Hunter's saying a little bit, but he's not old enough yet to say that about people up and coming. Like in a lot of respects, he's still up and coming. He's a top dog in this smaller pond in our way, but Hunter's still on his way up too. There's still some guys that he's chasing down in his own right like that. But for me, like it was cool to give those guys a shot, I guess I would say, in some of those ways. And then to win and lose with some of those guys was really cool. Like I don't like losing, but I like the fact that I got out there and had matches with all these guys now because I literally had matches with none of them going into it. I had no competition experience with these other 15 guys. So now I had 15 more chances at experience to figure out more before it was done. I don't know.
I don't think it's a sport that I don't think we look backwards very often. And so, like, sometimes you turn around and look backwards and it's like the Toy Story, like all the little aliens looking up at you. And all of a sudden there's like all these people that are like looking at you and you're like, oh, you want real answers. Let me go find those real quick. I'll be right back.
Let me go get the real adult.
Yeah.
Find somebody that knows what they're talking about. But so, yeah, so like getting out there, like, I guess to answer the question, I would, like I do, I'll ramble in 32 circles.
Oh, we good.
Before the match, man, I really wanted something to happen to trigger it. Well, I don't know what it was.
The thing.
And it never really came, I guess I would say, hardly. Like halfway through the match, I was in there and nothing, like I never got tired. I wasn't even winded, I don't think, when it was over. I think that was part of the problem I was frustrated with too.
You still had energy.
I had a lot more, dude. But my neck couldn't take it. Like literally, I just couldn't take it, dude. And that's why I was sad.
It's probably even sadder because you could look over there and see how tired his and blown out his arms were.
I could feel him getting more and more tired, dude. And that's what I was saying is like, I was mad and then I was sad because it was like, dang, man, like I physically couldn't really hold up the way
Your
that
frame couldn't
just
do it.
couldn't do it anymore. And like my neck was hurting and like that sucked being mortal like that, And so like leading into it, I didn't, I don't know. I just wanted to avoid that, I guess. I didn't want to feel that feeling. I guess I wanted it to be different if I lost. But there was going to be no way to lose this without being submitted. So it was that kind of, I don't know. There's like a really deep philosophy in that of itself, right? This is your last one. But the only way it's over is if you get submitted. But it could go on forever. Like, in theory. So it was just up to me to not get submitted. And I would win. Like,
you had to hold out.
That's the kind of weird shit I was thinking about. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's where I was at.
What you mean by heady?
Like, yeah, I was going into all these weird places and thinking about ghosts of the past, that I shouldn't have and stuff like that, just because I think that's what people do though when they're at that final lap or whatever. A lot of times you that's what you do is you look back and you try to figure out, what did you get from it, And I think that's what I'm doing. I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out, like, overall, not just the PGF, I guess, but through this 13 years of dedication and sacrifice and of my mind and my body and, my time, everything. What have I gotten out of this at this point? Just knowledge. That's it. And people, I guess. I've collected some people. But there's been no major windfalls of like paydays. There's no, I have a gym, but we're working. Like we're hustling. We're grinding to make it work. We're, it's doing good, but it's not, I'm not a millionaire off of my work, and stuff like that. So philosophy wise, we're rich. We're rich on thought. We're rich on like the process. but that's going to take time to figure out how to turn that into everything else that we have going on. But that's starting to work.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I think that's what's kind of coming together and creating all this.
But
and you couldn't have created that without the 13 years of what you did.
Right. And so that's the thing is like, you want to be, if you didn't know me then, you know me now, it looks like it may have been easy.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been so fun and like a piece of cake to do all this stuff because look at all these cool things we're doing and everything like that. But it's like, dude, it has been a grind from top to bottom, year after year, day after day, burning the candle at both ends for years, physically and mentally, giving myself away to the sports and the people of those sports, only to be, left behind several times, by people and by the sport. The sport's left me behind a couple of times too, just getting older and can't keep up, can't keep up the work rate with everybody. So like you said, it's like we're not a backwards looking sport. You only look that way just a little bit because if you think about the ADCCs from 10 years ago, nobody cares about those.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to watch that just kind of for nostalgia
Historical purposes,
yeah, but like it's not really, nobody's really using that stuff that much anymore. It's a different game than
you
it
get
used to
one or
be.
two chances at the high level to use like a game or something,
yeah.
and then everybody knows what it is, and it's already like
There's too
out of
much
date.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just weird to be in that situation. But now I have all this information. I have all these experiences. I have all these people I've collected. What can I do with this? What is, I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What is this now? Since it's not me competing to win.
I mean, what you're talking about life after fighting, and fighters, and especially aren't really like forward planners, but like you've created this thing that you can. It's like you hear Brandon say sometimes is that like the jiu-jitsu secondary, like you have all that information to create that, but now that allows you to create. I mean, you created a community out of a 10th Planet community that popped up here that didn't exist.
It
came from nowhere.
It's so funny, man. That's so funny too. The way
and they're in the culture. Like these dudes are deep now.
I love it. That's what I'm saying. They love it. I love it. We are. I mean, that's what I mean. It is, and we are, and it's funny, and it trips me out to see that. And that's what I was saying too. Is like some of these people I've known, or most of the people I've known for less than a year.
Right. In your gym is what you're talking about.
My students and stuff. But they were ride or die this year.
And most of them they came in during during
the pandemic, right in the middle of the worst time in our lives to be around people when it was the most dangerous thing you could do was be with somebody, and they came to me to be in my face so like it's why do I worry about the people that may or may not be interested? Or the people who are a little bit turned off. And that's what I keep saying is that there's a place for everybody, and if my place isn't for you, that's cool. That's the kind of vibe that we're working on. We're 10th Planet School, man. We're 100% no-gi all day. And that's the vibe. I don't know, is every 10th Planet School like our school? No, probably not in every way, but the fact that I think that is like what it is, though, is that we all are and are supposed to be open-minded and a representative of that style of jiu-jitsu to where, you don't get to tell people how to do it or how they have to do it. Or, you know what I mean?
As long as there's like, it seems like in the 10th Planet community that it's a lot of the people it's the core values the same. Like everybody kind of has the same core belief, and then do it however you want. Like even guys that are like even would be considered in more systems, and I would believe that like they would be more like they'd feel pricklier. I guess is it for a good word?
Yeah.
They still work well inside the 10th Planet system because they're like, yeah, this is my way, whatever. But if you have other suggestions, like everybody's still open to suggestion.
Well, that comes from the top down. you know, and it comes. That's just what it is. Is trying to, like Eddie is always an information seeker. He's just gobbles up information of all kinds, and sometimes that makes him spaz out because he goes too deep on things. But like I say, sometimes you got to go too far to understand where you're at. You know, to see where you know. I mean, you got to
Bite off too much.
yeah, and then you know that though. But otherwise, you may always be cutting a little short. You may be able to go a little bit further and do a little bit more easier if you would just one more time or listen to this guy who is doing this thing that you say. Listen to him. Do what he said to do and see how that works. Usually, you know, there's something to that, and so you could call it like stealing or imitation or whatever. But like, I mean, imitation is how that's the sincerest form of flattery, or stealing innovation is how the human species has evolved.
What is it? The greatest artist steal? I can't remember who said that.
Yeah, but it's for sure.
Yeah,
But it's for sure though. But like everybody steals ideas. That's how we've made it this far. Like everybody didn't invent fire. Everybody didn't create the means for fire. Some person thing figured out how to harness that and then taught it to everybody else. And then other people came up with other
Better
methods, better for their environment, better for their particular situation.
set of tools.
Yeah, better for the things that they have at hand. You know what I mean? And that's that's the way. Hunting and gathering was the thing. But then they figured out, well, we could actually make some of this stuff just grow if we plant these things, and we could just kind of chill a little bit more. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I'm just saying that's what's happened. That's why we're in cities now. Before, this wasn't a thing. You'd be in a little band of, you know, a little tribe. You couldn't get over a certain number of people because then you'd lose contact too easy, and you couldn't trust everybody. But now we have to live in this whole new thing that we're dealing with. I don't know. That's a whole other, like, book.
Write it.
I mean, I've read it. It's the Christopher Ryan, Civilized to Death.
Yeah.
Love that book. I love that one. Super good. Like, all that stuff's true. Like, all the problems we have, basically, as humans, we've mostly created them now at this point. But they were well-intentioned a lot of times, I feel like, and didn't know the consequences of some of the things that they were doing, maybe, to, you know, what it would do long-term to do some of these things, I guess. But that's the way that it goes. You know, people do things, and it's like, that was too far. We got to try to rein that back in, and then hopefully it's not too far that it destroys some ecosystem or country, or like Chernobyl or something like that.
So for you, what's next? We've got different things going on. You've got
May?
You got May. So you're not competing anymore. What is your drive look like, I guess? What is it? Where are you headed? What direction are you trying to go? Because I know we've got, what do we got in October?
I guess so. That's the thing, is like I mostly coach, teacher, leader,
Developing in those skills.
Yeah, that stuff. That's what I'm studying the most in my free time now. Things like that. That's what I find myself reading more and trying to understand better more than I do new jiu-jitsu stuff a lot of times.
Have you ever read Who Moved My Cheese?
No, I haven't.
You should. That my father, if he's in this live, is jumping up with glee that I recommended that. But yeah, Who Moved My Cheese is a good leadership book.
Remind me. I love that kind of stuff, man. I mean, I'm really into that. That's what I want to do. You know, trying to figure out how to. I want to create an organization here for me and my people. My people are the people that would want to be with me.
So would you say that's the dream now?
That, I think it's always been the dream.
There you go.
And I didn't know, like, that it was gonna, like, I did know, but I didn't know. Like, I wanted it, but I didn't know how to get it, or
didn't know what it looked like,
what it would be like. And I still don't necessarily, like, it's still moving, right? It still moves, because, man, like, some people are just they're gonna leave the gym. You know, like, sometimes you're gonna lose students that you didn't think were gonna leave too, and that's a bummer. And sometimes it's no fault of your own, really. It's not something that you did or could do or fix. People just move on. So there's all those different things that you have to kind of contend with now. Is like, what is the best way to be the head of this thing and still be human enough to get the real problems that people have day to day, but also be above it and not get caught in the fray of things sometimes because it's easy to get caught in that energy of whatever's going on around you. But as the head of the thing, you got to stop certain things before it gets started, even if it's uncomfortable. Or there's conversations I'm having to have with people. Sometimes it's just like, man, I wish somebody else would just tell them this because it's uncomfortable. Because I'm sure it makes them uncomfortable for someone to give them certain critiques, to challenge you, or to challenge them in a way that they may not quite understand yet. But I think I do, because like I've said, the relevant experience tells me you shouldn't do it that way. Can you do it that way? Yes. My experience is saying that I don't think we should. And then if someone wants to continue down the path that they were already, that they were going down, I've already offered my best advice. So you could just be wrong, and I can't do anything about it. I can't dwell on it. I shouldn't even be mad at you, really, though, because it's your choice. Like, it's your choice to choose. So I don't want to worry about stuff like that, but I have to, because I'm a good person. I'm compassionate.
Would it be like removing yourself from that? Like that you were talking about it, like not being, like the reason that you're doing it being the fact that you're just spreading the information, not necessarily that you're trying to accomplish something? Like not setting an expectation?
Yeah, I guess trying not to set the expectation, that's the biggest thing, because that's how you get disappointed.
Right.
If I don't expect you to act a certain way, then when you act the way you act, I won't be disappointed in you. But if I expect you to be someone and then you do something else, then the relationship will change some way, shape, or form. And, it's a lot of times you could just cut that stuff out by being direct early on. And it's hard to be direct, because a lot of times being direct gets that little tingling in your stomach, and people start getting defensive, and then when they get defensive, you posture back, and you never really get to the thing, But if you can see it early and start, gently poking at it a little bit, not like in a negative way poking, but trying to like brush up against it to start like seeing what it is, and then you can understand people more, or you can see what really is the thing, instead of letting it go and imagining what you think the thing is and just letting it operate with that assumption. And then the other person just doesn't know that it's a problem. They think it's cool because nobody's telling them otherwise. And then all of a sudden something bad happens based on it. And then you're like, you're so dumb or whatever. And this is like, well, you didn't tell me.
You didn't say anything.
You literally didn't tell me not to do this. Yeah. And it's like, oh, man. Because, I mean, on a small scale, I've done that a couple of times with people or whatever in the gym in certain ways. It's like, all right, I guess, yeah, I just assumed you all knew this. That's my bad. This is something to me that's such a simple thing now, because I've been doing it 13 years and da-da-da-da. I just thought everybody operated this way. And so I've had to really learn that too, is that, kind of like I said before, everybody hasn't thought all these things through the way I have.
And they're not you. They don't have the same experiences.
They're on level 1,
right,
and I'm on level 31 or whatever. And so I have to backtrack to put your hand here, put your hand here. Do not look left. If you lean to the right, just the most minor thing is mind-blowing to some people right now because they haven't heard it. Just the simplest little thing about posture or rolling your wrist to break a grip to some people. It is, you could just see that. And that's, I think, the thing, I guess. That's what I want now. I want to see that light in people's eyes. I want to see people light up when I give them something. I want them, that's what I want. Like, I want to be the light in that way. I want to see that reflected back to me from people. I want to I want to give as much of that as I can to where I see somebody just like in awe as many times as I can until I die. And I want to provide that for people. And I think my jiu-jitsu is what's the vehicle for it. And whatever, there's going to be a bunch of different things.
Seeing that learning for the first time expression on somebody's face.
Yeah, like that, like in jiu-jitsu class, or like we were talking about the Mid-South Classic, letting some of these people get their feet wet in a cash tournament for the first time sometimes, and seeing like, oh, dang, I can run in this group. I may not be able to win it yet, but I'm actually not far away as I thought, and stuff like, so you can see that's a win to me.
Speaking of the Mid-South.
Yeah. Speaking of Mid-South, that's what I'm saying. We're doing that and seeing people win money. And for me, giving away $1,000 to someone for winning an 8-person bracket.
You were more excited about the fact that you had given away, what was it, $2,600 to grapplers the last time? And, and that's exactly how you phrased it. You were like, I just paid $2,600 to grapplers. I'm happy.
And in one day, to 3 different people, they made a total of almost, right at $2,600 for the day. 2 people competed in the seminar. And so that's amazing, dude. That's amazing to me. I've never been in a place really where it wasn't, and I don't mean this about every place, because every place I've been, I haven't always been in the back room. So don't take it that way. But a lot of times I've been or seen the back rooms. The money's not being divvied and trying to pass out. Nope. It's being divvied and trying to put into bank bags to take to the bank for the people who are doing the thing, and I don't know. That's the thing, is like, could I have made some more money at this point? I guess maybe a little bit more, a couple $100 there.
I think that's short-sighted. I think that's why you see so many flashes in the pan in that game. Well, I think that's why you see so many tournaments that just pop up and then they go away.
And yeah, it's not about that for me. It's not about making I guess that's it, right? It's not about making a bunch of money for me. Like I don't. The only reason I need the money is for the experiences. Like, realistically, and if I could find some people that would sponsor all these experiences for me and everybody else, then we would just go around doing experiences. Or if I was extremely rich, just by any chance, I would just sponsor all these things for everybody to do it with me, because it would be fun and I would enjoy it, and that's the way to me. Again, just to get that experience with everybody. But with the Mid-South, man, we're looking at, I guess, July 31st, I think, is what we're thinking about. Yep. Pretty strong look at the 135-pound women weight class. We got 2 or 3 that are fairly committed at that point of the 8. So if you're interested in that, ladies, 135 and under, obviously you don't have to be 135 pounds, but anything under 135, chance to win $1,000 to grapple. It'll be 3 matches. It's an 8-person bracket. You have to win 3 times. You'll get $1,000. It's a $100 buy-in to lock in your space for it. And the same thing for the guys, 185. 185. For the first time, I think, too, right? This is the first time we're doing 185s. Yep. 185 men, same deal. $100 to buy in. That's $800 you guys are putting into a pot. I'm going to add $200 a piece to that pot from our sponsors. That's going to give you $1,000 a piece. We're going to have a bonus for a twister, because Parkway Automotive Studios, they love twisters. So there's always going to be a twister bonus at our show. So be ready to get the first twister at the show, and you'll get your entry fee back at minimum right away. Hopefully we'll be able to get submission bonuses and regulation back for this tournament once we get it going again on the 31st. So looking to give away.
Brandon said Kaya's in.
Yeah, Nakaya? Yeah, for sure. For sure. We've already spoken with Nakaya. Yeah, definitely excited to have Nakaya.
That's going to be fun.
All right, there we go. We're already releasing one name. Y'all don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just come on in and compete. It's going to be really fun. We're looking at maybe moving this one outside of the gym into a venue if things look the right way. We got a couple things that we're talking about, but I'm not going to commit to that. But we are looking to move it to a theater-type setting eventually, or some sort, to have seating now, because the world's open now, and it would be cool to have more people in there.
It's fun having a crowd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As much as we're
It's
art
the
nerds
looks,
about it,
right?
it is fun to have
But
people.
it's those looks again, right? It's
Yeah.
the crowd cheering. It's like that adoration of the moment, and you hear people clapping of the
Man in the arena.
You know, yeah, dude, I love it. I love that. I love that stuff. Like I love that stuff. I love to see people get their moment. You know, I love that. And we're doing that with the Mid-South. So 135-pound ladies, 185-pound men. Get with me now. Let's secure your spot now for July the 31st.
No refunds.
No refunds, dude. Come on, don't be that person. We can like hold your space if you find somebody to replace you or whatever. If you have to pull out, you know, cool, get them to pay for it or whatever. But like, if you buying in, this is a placeholder. Okay, we can't do this stuff with people dropping in and out all the time. Any of that money stays in the pot though. So if somebody drops out, the money stays in the pot. So whatever, I'm not taking anything from anybody. We're not splitting the pot with you. We're not doing anything like that. We are going to put more money into the pot for the winners of this tournament. EBI rules, 10-minute regulation, 3 overtimes. Tell your friends to hit me up, the Dream 10P on Instagram, Stephen Aiken on other forums. Yeah, I think that thing's going to blow up. I think it's going to do a lot.
Brandon's sage advice was that we needed to stay in the gym because we could focus on the fighters better, and that when you go to a crowd, you now have a whole new thing to manage. If you want to do it somewhere else, have someone else manage it for sure, was his advice. So, like, have somebody else running the front of the house.
That's kind of what we've looked at sort of with one of those avenues we talked about.
We got you, Brandon.
You know, we're thinking, like, that's the thing. I'm working and I'm thinking, but when I'm thinking about fighting and killing people, I can't think about these things the right way. I have not been able to focus on this. I have not been able to focus on my camp in Costa Rica. I have not been focusing on the gym the right way. We've lost a couple members, probably just because the vibe was a little bit off for a few months of me not being there, like physically and mentally. Sometimes, you know, dealing with all this stuff. So I really did. It felt like a fog got lifted a little bit after this was over, and so now starting Monday, I hit the ground running with everything, and we're on the move now. So Mid-South in July. I'm gonna try to do my best, Brandon, since you're watching, man, to be involved with the PGF stuff for season 3. Maybe some of the qualifiers, getting on, doing some commentary stuff, coaching, whatever you guys want to do. I want to be involved in it. I want to have fun with it. So let's talk about that. Those dates are coming up soon. That'll be Decatur, June 26th. I know that's the first one, so everybody needs to get into that. That money's also going to the pot, guys. That's going into the season 3 prize pot to give away to the winner of the season. So if you love grappling and you love supporting professional grapplers, come out here and run it, man. You may get the chance to roll with like Michael Jordan in this tournament. He may come out of the qualifier and then go into the season and blitz people and nobody's ever heard of him. And then you could say, hey, you got to shoot hoops with the king, you know. So there's something to be said for that kind of stuff, not being scared. Losing sucks, man. It hurts, but, man, you can become a better person, like, dealing with it the right ways if you can handle that. So Mid-South Classic, the PGF stuff, there's lots of, like, Southeastern grappling stuff going on that's blowing up. But for me, the next big thing is Costa Rica. October the 10th through the 16th, and I mentioned this before, but again, I kind of dropped it for a while because it sold so fast when we first opened it up. The 10th through the 16th, Manuel Antonio, Costa Rica, at Hotel Costa Verde. It's going to be amazing, dude. We just bought the mats. They're on the way now. We shipped them out, they got shipped out. They're on the way down there. We're going to have like 2,000 square feet of mat space. Some high-level people coming down. Myself, Lindsey McCatherine, Kyle Chambers are going to be teaching. Brandon will be there, but he's going to just be like the grand poobah, hanging out, walking around, talking and being silly probably, give him a little bit of a vacation, and let the lady do some work because she's got some really good stuff to share. So we're working on that. It's getting done. We have a couple things. We picked up a couple of sponsors for that. One of those, I guess I'll just go ahead and drop it really quick, is the Musgrove Trial Firm. We've got them hooked in. They're going to be kind of basically sprinkled across several things that we do now because they're basically going in to help the overall dream on things.
It'll be the homies of the dream.
Yeah, definitely supporting us, and so we're gonna help blow them up. Anybody in the state of Georgia, if you have an automotive accident, you can hit up Buddy Musgrove. Call your buddy. My guy is good. He can get you paid. If he can't get you paid, he'll keep it real with you and tell you you don't have a case. You don't have nothing to lose. So if you're in an accident, call your buddy. Yeah, so they're helping us out. We just closed the deal just right before we came in today with one of the catamaran companies down there, and Friday night. So at the close of camp, Friday night, we're going to have a sunset catamaran cruise for everyone that's going to be in attendance. So the last night, it's just going to be out in the ocean at sunset, cruising and enjoying the night. Yeah, man, just trying to make it a thing, you know. It's an experience, and we love it. Like, I loved it when I went down there, man. That's why I'm doing. Like I said, that's why I'm doing it, is because I had such a great experience, and it was so enriching for my life to be able to go down there the first time and even do this on a small scale. So if I can bring anyone else along, and if they're even just a little bit inspired after coming down here or coming down there and working with us, it's going to be good. But another good thing, man, we got these mats. We ordered these mats. We're sending them down there. We're going to donate the mats to my friend Lorenzo that's down there. He's a purple belt. They don't really have a dedicated school yet because they don't really have a lot, but they're going to build a little space, like a little platform with the roof and everything, you know, in the Tico style, to start having those mats out more full time. So that way he can have a space to start teaching more, because where he's at, he has to use his aunt's yoga studio only after hours. And he only has like 20 puzzle mats that he can put down total. So you really can't do a ton. So we're going to supply them with the mats. We're going to donate all that stuff. So I'm really excited to be, you know, just to be helping out in that way too. Of course, it's going to help us out to have mats down there when we go, because then I can train on those mats when I go with Lorenzo, instead of having to wait until the yoga studio's closed and go at 7 o'clock at night or 6 a.m. in the morning on vacation. Mats. Yeah. Oof. Well, I mean, we ordered puzzle mats too, but we got, you know, the really thick ones. Yeah, really cushy ones. Whereas down there, he only could get access to those little Taekwondo, like half-inch ones. So we're going to supply that for him. I don't know. It's costing a bunch of money. I don't even want to drop numbers, but it's costing a bunch of money. Yeah. But we're going to do that because it's going to help people. It's going to help the whole thing kick off. So if you guys want to be a part of that, let me know. We got a couple of tiers of sponsorship that we can let you guys in on, from like a hospitality style sponsorship to where if you want to be the title sponsor of the camp, we could put your name right in front of the whole thing, and you would be the provider of the mats for Costa Rica, for the community down there. So if you're really interested in being a part of something that we're really trying to grow jiu-jitsu and the community as a whole, and this could be a place for many people to go stop in and train down there and teach and have space to be, you know, then let me know. Then hit me up, like, for real. We got a lot of different things that we're working on between that, the Mid-South Classic, you know.
Season 2 of the Dream Show will be in Costa Rica.
Right. We're going to run a whole nother season. 8 to
12 episodes is what
based off of the week. Yeah, we're going to have Isaac down there. Several people, you know, it's going to be so much fun, man. So if you're interested in that, we're going to have a lot of content to put out. We'll have your brand. We can get them recognized, especially in the Southeast area. Yeah, just definitely hit me up. Super, like, that's the thing. Without the cloud of competition over my head, I feel really optimistic. I feel really bright about the future of things like that. But when I was in that headspace, man, everything felt dark.
Brandon said it's hard to focus on real life when it's killing season.
Bro, everything was so dark, man. I wanted to hurt people. Like, I wanted to hurt people's feelings. I wanted to be mean to people sometimes day to day. And, like, I was snapping about things that really shouldn't have taken that much mental space from me. You know, I recognized that in myself, but I was so committed then that I couldn't pull out now. You know, other situations you can walk away from it when you're kind of, you know, I feel those things coming up because I'm self-aware now. You know, I'm old. I know what's up a lot of times, so I can pull myself out. But once I was committed, and so I was willing to see it all the way through.
You had to be that guy all the way through.
All the way through. Murder, death, kill, or die. You know, that was it, and that was what happened. You know, I ended up I went out on my shield this time.
Brandon also said rumor is that Krikorian,
Keith.
yeah, he said is in for
Keith
season
Krikorian.
3. Oh, okay.
Ooh, saucy. Is he gonna have to go through a qualifier? Probably not.
I don't know. It said breaking news, so
Bruh, that's gonna be sick. That's gonna be so sick. That's an ADCC veteran, multiple styles of submission grappling tournament winner. Dude, I remember Keith being a little teenager out in San Diego, like 16 or 17, probably at the most at the time when I was meeting him. Just a little mat rat, dude. He was doing his little high school wrestling stuff and then coming in and doing jiu-jitsu. And then once he graduated, he went on a tear and won like 60 some odd matches in a row, going around to like the little EBI tournaments that were popping up everywhere, the local ones like we do kind of. He would go to all these little ones and he was just cashing checks every weekend, just winning. And then he finally got a shot to the ADCC the last time. He got second in both East and West Coast trials that year. So just stuff like that is really cool to see, to be able to have seen someone that was he was a kid with the blue belt basically to now he's this really world renowned grappler and high level thinker too. Like he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he's doing. I could like gradually feel him turning, like from nail to hammer, like under me. You know what I mean? Like he'd come and then he'd go away for a little bit. Like, 'cause he was in college, sometimes he would be at like one of the like Costa Mesa or Orange or some of the Orange County schools or something like that. And then he'd come back and visit, and it's like, oh, that's not the same thing. And then all of a sudden it went from where I was really submitting him to where I wasn't submitting him. And then now he could catch me. And then towards the end, it was like he was getting pissed if he couldn't catch me. And if I was catching him for sure, then he was really, really mad. And it's like, you're 145, 50 pounds, dude, chill out. But he's just that kid. He's on a mission. You know what I mean? He's another one of those guys that was like supremely dedicated to the art and to the sport and to the craft. So, man, dude, that makes season 3 super high level. I'm excited to see that then. And if some of these other guys that are talking about they're going down to 70 are going down, yeah, that's gonna be interesting because he's not a 70. I don't think. I think he's probably naturally more. I don't know. He's probably grown up 60s, more. Probably. Maybe so. Maybe He probably walks around about 60 at this point. I guess he is older now, but he's competed at 45 a lot. But maybe that was with a cut. I don't know. But kid's a buzzsaw, dude. He's a buzzsaw, and he's got some really good stuff. He was one of the first people that taught me how to enter the legs from when someone defends an armbar. Like when you shoot your armbar from the bottom and they try to like stand up to pull out, and then he shot in on my legs, and I was like, it's like, why are you doing that? You know, you're not supposed to do that, but
play the game. Not doing my game.
Yeah, it's like this new stuff, it don't work. Meanwhile, I'm just tapping.
It's not real.
You're not supposed to do that. When I pull out of your armbar, you're supposed to let me smash you. That's how this works. You know what I mean?
Small man.
Yeah. But no, dude, that's awesome, Brandon, man. Congratulations. Like the PGF's going to be dope then for this season for sure, automatically based on a couple of the things that are going down. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Maybe we'll just host the PGF finale for season 3 down in Costa Rica. We'll just get everybody to come down there and do the finale.
Brandon.
We'll have to check the internet connections while we're there. Make sure we can get it out. I don't know. But, dude, yeah, seriously, though, the PGF was one of the best things ever to get to go through, to be a part of. I am glad that it's over now. I'm glad that I'm past it. I'm glad that I have all this reflection that I can use to grow for a while. Like, there's a lot still to unpack based off of everything that happened, and I'm still doing that, you know. And competition-wise, I mean, it just is what it is, right? We say all the time, nobody cares as much as you do about your record. So I'll live with this forever, and I'll be disappointed about it forever. There's nothing that's going to change that. But that's the nature of the game, right? You don't ever hardly get to ride off with the win and get to leave it at that. So that's just my story. You know, that's my story, and that's what I'm gonna tell everybody, and they can either enjoy it or don't. And a lot of people seem to be on it. We're heading in the right direction. I don't know, man. The future is really bright. I think it is. I think being out of the fog of war definitely gives that opportunity to get some breath. You know. You got anything else?
Brandon said it would be sick for us. I'm assuming that was in reference
to
to
the-
the.
to
There's
the
a little
question.
bit of a lag in the chat. So,
Yeah, typically it takes a couple
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah, but that would be amazing. I don't know, just different things like that would be cool. Any of the experiences, man, I'm down for. I'm down to create them if I have to. If I have to make it to do it, then I'll do that. Otherwise, yeah, hit me up, man. I like to travel. I'll come to your school and teach, or whatever. Just don't call me in to beat me up, please. I don't want to get beat up.
You're
anymore.
done with that.
But real talk, man. Thank you to Works Bookkeeping Services. They are a sponsor for us. They help me out a lot. Definitely to Musgrove Trial Firm, one of our newest sponsors. Call your buddy. Definitely Parkway Automotive Studios and Sales. They hooked us up this week. Actually, I traded my car and got a nice used Civic from these guys.
Nice.
2016 to hit these streets, baby.
Run those things. Run.
Trying to get this gas mileage, son. My little VW started costing me too much money every week. It was like another $500 or $1,000 to keep getting it fixed, and it was just like, F it. So yeah, thanks Parkway Automotive Studios for hooking it up. We're riding now.
Peach Podcast Syndicate.
Peach Podcast Syndicate. You know what I'm talking about? Turnkey Connections, The Daily Stack, Blind Lincoln Productions, Wu-Tang.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines. One, two, three.